fund to help support the property, and another one to construct this parking area and the trails here. Often when I drive by, I'll see 4 or 6 cars parked here, and so we know that it's getting a lot of good use here. So it's very gratifying to see that, and I want to thank Mike and Steve for having the faith that Great Works Regional Land Trust would be good stewards for this wonderful place. So thank you, and Mike's going to say a few words to us now.
I just want to reiterate what Mike said. This has been really more than we expected. To see just this group is encouraging, and I know in the summertime it would probably be twice as many people. But this is something that we felt strongly about, my brother and I. Nothing against businesses. We love business. We owned a business. But we didn't want this strip to be just another whatever would have come here. And as good as that is for the employment, I think this is so much as important for the town as a gathering spot, as Mike says, as just some place to come and commune with nature and to be actively supporting this. Who knows what the next family or the next owners might be able to give based on what they see here. And it's just more than I could have ever dreamed of to see this, and to see this come to fruition with your hard work, and look forward to many, many runs through the trails with our family, and look forward to seeing y'all. So thanks for your hard work. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
My name's Tim Smith. I'm a board member, and I'm one of the people that's involved in the stewardship. And part of stewardship is a active forestry management program, where we work on portions of our properties or portions of some properties to improve the habitat, water quality, recreational resources, and wildlife. And this is one of the properties we're going to work on. We've actually started the work on. What we're trying to do here is create a number of different habitats. And if you walk the property, you go down to the river, and there's a lot of older growth trees. Well, we're going to preserve those older growth trees, and on the uplands coming up here, this forest here, is not such an older growth tree. And what we're going to do is do active management to move this along to older growth trees. And over here, right behind you, is kind of a scrub shrub habitat, which is a totally different habitat. And we're going to kind of keep working on this to keep it that way. And that's sort of what the active forestry management program is. We do it in a low impact way. We have a tractor, a small tractor, and we do it with a chainsaw, and we sell the wood to members through a firewood program. It's kind of a different way of managing property in a low impact way. And the way we do it is we go through and we look at the best trees that are on the site, and we actually mark those, but we mark those to keep them. So we kind of do, normally when you do harvesting or for forestry, you go through, you pick out the best trees and you harvest those. But what we're doing, since we want to grow a more mature forest, we actually pick out those trees, mark them, and then save them, and then give them some room around them to grow and to spread out for wildlife and for trees, and just to have an older growth forest. I can talk about this a lot more, but not today. Happy to talk to you about that another time. Thanks.
Hi everybody, my name is Jill Crosby. I'm the Stewardship Director, and I came on 2 years ago, and this project was well in the works of wanting to get it accessible to the public. And we started with the trail off of Powerhouse because we thought that's where we were going to be doing our parking, and that sort of didn't work out. So then we started to scout around for another parking, and that's how this came to be. And the trail, the loop trail that's off of this. So it's really exciting to have it open out to the public and see the use. Same thing, whenever I drive by, there's always usually cars here, and that's just great that it's kind of made an impact on the community so quickly. And future things that we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting up a kiosk with maps and some hopefully educational information, so people that come to visit will see and hear and learn about the different habitats. So that's to come, and that's my big spiel. So thanks for being here.
So that wraps up the speaking. We're gonna give Berwick TV a few seconds to reorganize, and then we're gonna go off in smaller groups for the walk. So approximately, we have about 20, a little over 20 people here. So if Michael can lead a group and Tim can lead a group and I'll lead the third group, we kind of could just go like boom, boom, boom. So, try to keep it to 8 to 10 people, leaders, and Jill if you want to lead a group too. And if you're a little over, just be more spaced out. But I think we'll be fine. This is a nice number to work with. So Ralph and Terry, we'll just give you guys however much time you need and we'll start walking. Okay, yeah, it's cold.
Oh yeah, it's exciting. This is really exciting.
Yeah, we still have some work to do on the. It's a good start.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Everybody, we're on the air. I'd like to call to order the Berwick Planning Board meeting for Thursday, August 19th. If you would all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'd like to introduce our board members tonight from Zoom. We have Amber Fecto from her new house. Congratulations, Amber. To my right, we have Vice Chairman Mike LaRue. To my left, Jerry Graybill, Paul Amatucci. We've got James Bellissimo, who's our town planner, Jenny McCabe, who is our code enforcement officer, and I think that is everybody. Who's that?
That's David there for the first.
Perfect. I am going to open the public comment session. I really have a hard time talking with this on. I just want it to be clear that the public comment, if you have comments about anything on our agenda tonight, please save them for the public hearing. This is an informational session to gather information. We're all gathering information right now, so please, if it's regarding the subdivision, the marijuana, this other subdivision thing, please hold your comments on that. But saying that, I open the public comment to any property owner in the town of Berwick under purview of the Berwick Planning Board. Please feel free to come to the podium. The public comment is, we allow you to make a statement up to 3 minutes. It's a statement, we write it down, we address it later.
I did have someone email me that asked
Okay.
me for the Zoom info, but he's not here, so I'll send him an email and see if he can get on the second public comment.
Okay, we do have another public comment session at the end of the meeting also. So he didn't have a statement for you though?
No, he wanted to zoom in.
Okay, perfect. Seeing nobody come forward, I'm going to close the public comment session and move on to the approval of minutes from the August 5th, 2021 meeting. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes? How did James do? He did good? All right, I agree.
Marginal.
Yeah, this is twice in a row. Very good, James. So I need a motion to approve the minutes as written.
I'll make that motion.
All right, so moved. All right, I got a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the minutes as written?
Aye.
I'm abstaining, I wasn't here.
All right, we have 1 abstain and 4 approvals. Thank you. Moving on to the first item on our agenda, which is a site plan amendment for the adult use marijuana cultivation facility at 11 Pond Road. James?
So this is a site plan amendment for electrical service. You'll see on sheet C1, that's the proposed, and sheet C2 is the previous. The electrical service to the adult use marijuana production facility is proposed to be changed so the power will come from a pole that's on site at 11 Pond Road, and the power would then be routed underground along the driveway to the new building. The previous plan proposed that the power come from a pole on Pond Road and be routed underground along the property line of 13 Pond Road. And I'll just make a quick note just to put on the record, separate issue, but David, I'd like to ask a comment of you about the construction entrance that was used to install the leach field. Can that go away? Because it seems to be causing some drainage issues, but if it's okay with the chair, I can turn it over for David to add anything I might have missed.
Yep, that's fine with me.
You're muted. Still muted.
Still muted. Looks to me like he said he's fine with taking that out.
David, you're muted. There you go. You're in. We didn't hear anything you said.
No, I still don't hear anything he's saying.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes.
Good.
We got you.
All right. All right. Is Jerry Grable sitting on the planning board right now?
Yes, he is.
All right. Well, it's a conflict of interest for him to be on this board when he's the one who spearheaded all the abutters against me. So I would like for him not to be involved in any of these proceedings having to do with my property.
Okay, we'll have
There's
to.
a conflict of interest.
Right. Is he in any? I think conflict of interest for the board would be if there was any monetary gain for him by serving.
There is. When he's the one who sends the town planner pictures that he is taking of my abutter's property, that's a conflict of interest. And I don't want to get nasty here, you guys, but it's a conflict of interest.
Okay. Well, we
Bring
could.
an attorney and I will.
Yeah.
But
No, we
I'm
could.
not
We
putting
could
up with
certainly
that
have.
crap at all.
I mean,
Certainly have Mr. Grable recuse himself.
tonight's only, I mean, I brought up that one part.
Right.
Curious.
Jerry Grable cannot be involved in any discussions per my property on this planning board.
That's fine. Would we still have a quorum and be able to vote? Otherwise, we'll have to put this off by a
That's
couple
fine,
weeks.
but I don't want him involved in any of the proceedings or any of the discussions on my property.
Okay. Would you
All right,
be
are we
okay with
clear on that?
recusing yourself for that?
Wait, what about Paul?
Okay. Paul Amatucci is also
In
on the.
all future discussions as well.
Okay. What about Paul Amatucci, who is also on the board?
Well, that's fine, just as long as it's not in a butter that was involved in the process.
He wasn't a butter involved in the process. They both were.
Well, I think that's a conflict of interest.
Okay.
Neither one of them should be able to be on it.
I'm sure they'd be happy to recuse themselves from this.
Well, for today,
Gentlemen?
but then you might want to just speak with our town attorney and see what they
Right.
have to say.
That's a good idea.
Should we run it by the town attorney, James, and table this?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have a quorum at this point.
Yeah,
but
we don't have a quorum, so
I
we'll
mean,
have to.
you just,
And
No,
I'm not going to knee-jerk it and say that I'm going to recuse myself
Yeah.
just because he said it. So
It's fine. I think this is something we can run by the town attorney and table this until we have that resolved. So moving on.
But that is for the future, you know. as
That's
far as
fine.
the
No,
discussions on this map.
we're gonna table this until because we don't have a quorum anyway, so we couldn't vote.
Okay.
So we'll table this and we're gonna move on to the.
All right, but my construction's gonna move forward.
Okay, your part is over now, so we're gonna table this. We can put Mr. Ayers on mute again and put him back into the waiting room. And we're gonna move forward with the sketch plan for the major subdivision at Pine Hill Road. That's in the R2 zone. I know we have a representative here. Just so everybody is aware, this is the sketch plan meeting for this for this subdivision, which means that this is the first that the board is seeing of it. It's our general overview discussion, and it is not the first actual meeting. Even though this is a meeting and we're all here, this isn't the first actual meeting of the plan. We will have another meeting, and that's where we will actually review their application. But please come forward, Liam.
Face this towards you, towards...
I think toward me.
Okay.
Yeah, we're the ones over. Yeah.
I think you can kind of, yeah. Well,
Good?
I think it's mostly for the television audience anyway, right?
Okay.
And that microphone also moves, like it comes off the stand, and I know that
you just want to make sure the green light's on.
our ladies have worked very hard for that, so feel free to use it. Walk around with it.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Liam Cullinane. I'm from Avatar Engineering. I'm here representing Providential Equity Development, from which we should be joined by Pat Carroll. Is he on there?
He is, yep, in the bottom right corner
Yeah.
there.
This is my first time appearing in front of Berwick Planning Board. Do you want me to just go through a rough?
Yeah, just give us a general overview. We'll kind of give you our general thoughts on it.
Okay. So I'm here presenting a sketch plan for a major subdivision in the R2 Transitional Residential District, 127 Pine Hill Road. There's 42.5 acres on the property, and we plan to have 26 lots served by municipal water and sewer. The property has access to the west side of Pine Hill Road and the north side of Knox Lane, and in the sketch, both entrances are utilized. As of now, we have a completed boundary survey. All wetlands are located, along with the vernal pool that was determined to be non-significant. And it's not impacted on the sketch plan so far. Thank you for your time. Do you have any comments, questions?
So it was, it's been brought to our attention by the town planner that because this property is a significant field and farmland, that the planning board can require you to reduce the size of the lots, or allow you to reduce the size of the lots and make this a cluster. You know, take your 26 lots, make them smaller, and preserve more of that open space. And we haven't really discussed it that much, but I know that we've all been reading about it and whatnot. And I'd like to hear James's take on that. And then I don't know if that's something that we as a board would just say. I mean, we're not voting on anything tonight. We would just say, hey, come back with a second sketch showing this as a cluster development, preserving that land, and what your it's laid out in our land use ordinance what you could do with that land in order to preserve it.
Yeah, we've gone through, we're about halfway through comprehensive planning, updating our comprehensive plan, but also, I mean, this is from our standing comprehensive plan. Our farmland and open space is dwindling at a rapid pace. I'm sure that's why everyone's here tonight very concerned about seeing that go. And obviously I would pitch it back to the board. I think the preference would be smaller lot sizes, less wetland impact, but most importantly, preserve a little bit more of that open space that really gives the rural character to that neighborhood. And I think this could be an opportunity that, you know, we also want density and housing, but to have some of that density, but also preserve some of that open space.
How does my board feel about that? Mr. Graybill?
I agree. After reading this.
Microphone?
Yep. I agree with that. After reading, you know, section 8.8 and our discussions.
Awesome. And if anybody's interested, there is, in our land use ordinance, you can get it online. If you Google Berwick Land Use Ordinance, you can go to page 87, and it's from 87 to like 91. And it kind of spells all of that out, and it spells out what a cluster development is and how it preserves that open space, that farmland, and the natural resources. Amatucci?
I agree. I'm all for the preservation of the open space and the farmland, and I'd like to see more of it in development. So if it is within the power of you coming back with a scaled down, more cluster-like look to this and significantly more open space, I think that would be favorable.
Mr. LaRue?
Yeah, I think having that second option would be a good thing to look at and discuss further.
Mrs. Fecto?
I agree as well with the smaller lot size and a scaled down plan.
Excellent. So what was I going to say? I thought that I had something. Oh, so what this does is it requires 2 sketch plans to be submitted. So one is the standard subdivision, which is what we have here, and then a second is a cluster development, and that would indicate the open space. It would indicate the significant natural features, and then you can obviously read through our land use ordinance. But I think that that's, you know, this farmland has been in one family for what, 300 years or so, and it's important, it's significant to us. We don't want to see it go up as a, when I say we, I'm not speaking for the town of Berwick, as a bunch of houses. Something else just which might be insignificant to you, but I know it's not to a lot of people, is that this is known as the Morrill Farm, and I know that we don't have a subdivision name on this yet, and you will have to have a subdivision name for the for your next meeting, and it would be nice to see their name used in that, and that's just an aside. Anything else from the board for the sketch plan? Any questions for us, Liam?
Yeah, just out of curiosity, so obviously you're looking for me to make another sketch plan
Yes.
with the cluster. Is it could it potentially be a requirement when I come back to have it be the cluster version?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It probably will. Let's put
Yeah,
it that way.
sounds like.
And it's something I think we could workshop it a little bit. If you have more questions over the next week or two, I'd be happy to work with Atar and start working on ideas, because I think where the open space goes, I mean, I think we have a good idea
Well,
of.
it's meant to preserve like the natural resources in open space, right? Like not just any open space,
Yeah.
like it's significant open space.
Right, it's significant prime farmland.
Right.
And it's 40 acres of open space.
And then also of note is that, you know, because the lot sizes would be smaller, we don't want to see you come back with 45 lots on small, you know, like clustered. But yeah, I'm sure James can help you out.
But I'd say, yeah, I think the density is good, but I mean, if you come back as a trade-off from some of the open space and you come back with 28 lots or 30 lots, I think that's an appropriate trade-off where we can.
I do, but I'm just saying like not 45 lots.
Right, exactly,
Like,
yeah,
I get it,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly. And really again, the positioning of the open space, some thoughtfulness could really go a long way.
Right, yeah. We're a very, as you can see around you, very active, very engaged town, and we all have this, I mean, we're working on our comp plan right now. We have a common goal of seeing this stuff preserved, so. And we still want developers to bring us people, because we're developing an entire downtown that's gonna need people in it, so.
One other question?
Yes.
If I were to come back with a plan that was not a cluster but did have more open space,
Yeah.
Would that be a possibility to be approved as well?
I mean, I guess it depends on how much open space you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I think we're looking for a significant amount of open space. I mean, anything is a possibility of being approved, but what we want to see is, I mean, the standards are kind of laid out here, and James can help guide you to kind of what the planning board's going to want to see.
It's 30%, right?
Is that what it is, James O?
I don't have the exact.
Yeah, I don't have it all right
Right.
directly in front of me.
30% right here.
Yeah, 30%, yeah. Anything else?
That's it. Did you have any questions specifically about the plan? Oh, I think
I
Pat
don't,
has a
but
comment.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm Pat Carroll from Providential Equity Development.
Hi, Pat.
How are you? Nice to meet you all. Our thinking on this project was, and if you look at some of the lots, they're from 20,000 to 86,000 square feet. Trying to obviously maximize use of land and try to offer customers, obviously people are looking to buy a lot, they're looking to buy a lot. You know, if they can get a 2-acre lot, then that's what they're looking for. So just wondering how the board feels about that
kind of mixed density of lot sizes.
I'm thinking as long as you fall within the guidelines of a cluster and you've got that, you know, that 30% number that you would want to hit, if at least 30% of the site can be reserved in perpetuity as common open space, then I don't care what size your lots are.
Okay. So it's going to take some creativity.
Yes, that's why you pay Liam the big bucks.
Yeah. So you heard that, Liam?
Yep, got it.
All right.
All right, well, nice meeting you all.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Pat.
Pat. Thanks for working
Thank
with
you.
us.
We'll see you in a few weeks, I'm sure. Thanks, Liam.
Good night. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
If you guys want to leave, you're allowed to leave now before I start with another little lot line adjustment that is really not fun at all. You cannot ask questions either, though. Okay. You're doing good. Okay, so I'm going to move on. I skipped the lot line adjustment for the subdivision amendment at 569 Portland Street in the RCI zone known as Route 4 Self-Storage and HP Cycles. I'm assuming we have somebody in the audience for that that's going to come talk to us about this.
Yeah.
We don't screw around here in Berwick. Also, because the applicant is leaving, we cannot talk about that application with you at all during this meeting. So I just want you guys to know that also.
Public comment at the end.
There is public comment at the end, but like I stated at the beginning, that is not for that particular application. That is how these meetings go. I just want to be very clear with everybody about that. We will have another meeting, and then we will have a public hearing. And at the public hearing, we will hear the public. That is the order of these meetings. I'm so sorry. Yes.
Public comment was beginning. If you
Right.
had questions right then and there, but coming up, the next meeting, we'll be able to ask more.
At the public hearing for that application. Yeah, so there is another public comment session, but it's not for anything that's active on our agenda, especially if the applicant isn't here to answer.
Something you guys can do is you can send in a letter too. That works.
Yeah, send in notes to the
Send planning@berwickmaine.org. Send in letters.
Yes.
Send in your questions.
Yes, planning@berwickmaine.org. You can send in any questions or comments or concerns.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Where the best spot for this is?
It's fine.
That's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. This is a very thorough application for this.
What's that?
I said this is a thick
Oh yeah, for the
lot line adjustment.
You'll know the answer. How many amendments has this been?
I think
Didn't we say 7 or 8?
It's got to be at least 4.
4 in the past.
Or 4.5 after the last one.
Yeah.
All right, what you got for us?
Well, my name is Mike Peverett from Civil Consultants, and we're representing Route 4 Self-Storage LLC. What we're proposing to do is make an amendment to a previously amended subdivision plan. Essentially, we're going to make a couple small lot line adjustments along this line. 2,462 square feet is going to be conveyed from Route 4 Self-Storage to HP Cycles. That's correct. There's an issue there with a driveway encroachment in that area. This middle part.
Oh, we can't hear you. Can you please?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That is a detachable microphone, and they love when we use that. Thank you. Sorry.
So we propose to. Is
this thing on?
Green light?
Bobby Joe, is it on?
Yeah.
It's on.
Sorry about that. We
It's all right.
propose to convey 2,462 square feet from Route 4 Self-Storage to HP Cycles to correct driveway encroachment issue there that's been there for many years. We propose to convey two small pieces of 2,475 square feet and 3,987 square feet from HP Cycles to Route 4 Self-Storage. One of those pieces is to correct a side setback issue on a storage unit building here, which has been an issue for quite a while that was not known. And the other reason for that is the site plan that you folks approved last year has a new unit under construction there, and this lot line adjustment accounts for the side setback for that unit. So what's interesting about this is these particular lot line adjustments were approved last July by this board. The side plan was somehow lost and was never recorded, and as a result of that, these conveyances were never done. So essentially, the first part of what we're asking for is to essentially reapprove exactly what you approved last July. And in addition to that, we have 236,852 square feet in the rear here that we propose that HP Cycles conveys to Route 4 storage to allow them to do further development in the future out back. We've looked into the revised HP Cycles lot, which will obviously be significantly reduced in size, will be the net density there after deduction of wetlands is still over 143,000 square feet. Zoning requires 90,000 square feet, so it's still well in excess. We've also looked at the lot coverage on the HP Cycles property. Zoning allows 80%. We're at roughly 30% after the
conveyance of the gigantic amount of land. Okay.
That's correct, yes. So the new Route 4 self-storage lot will still have its frontage on Route 4.
Right.
Access will be via Route 4, and there's also access via Randall Road. But again, all the frontage will be on Route 4, and this will just be one larger piece.
Right. Can I ask Jen, because actually it's funny that we have a lot of setback issues in Berwick. People are building within setbacks left and right, and I want to know, and I asked James this, so I know that, for instance, I know of a house that's put way into its setback, and so they just got a fine for that. It was like maybe $2,000 fine, which seems like $3,600, okay. But still, I mean, for somebody to build into their setback, $3,600 is petty cash, right? Is there going to be some kind of fines because these people put their building into a setback, even though we're remedying it through this? I mean, what is stopping people from building into setbacks? Because it's not money.
Well, it is a problem.
It is. It's a huge problem.
So it used to be that you would build into the setback and nobody heard about it because a letter was written and they moved on. It's actually more common than you think. You just don't hear about it.
Right.
We had implemented that last year.
Okay.
On Diamond Hill Road to start. And now when it comes to our attention, but that was in 2019, 2020, and then there's one this year. So it's not as common as it sounds.
Right.
We're just hearing about it more because of it's coming to light at the select board meetings now. So we started implementing the fines.
I want bigger fines. I want something that's painful enough that
Well,
when they go to pour a foundation, they make sure the foundation is within the setbacks.
But that's the first offense.
Okay.
So if I was to build a house in my excavator, because it really comes down to the excavator, the builder. First offense is the administrative consent. They can approve that or say, I don't want to do this, it's denied, and then we'll bring them to court. On the second offense, they would automatically go to court. They would have to stop building anyways and move the house. So we just give people the benefit of the doubt. We hear why they did it and how it happened, and then we give them the benefit of the doubt or we don't.
Yeah, it's just like, it's a tape measure. Like I can calculate, and I don't own an excavator. I mean, we know how to measure a setback. Anyway, I'm sorry, this has really not a lot to do with you, but it does.
Well, I can, just to add a little bit, we weren't involved when that building was built there.
Yeah.
But what's somewhat unique about this situation is at the time that building was built, both properties on both sides were separate properties, but they were essentially under common ownership, different names, the same party.
Yeah.
So in a more traditional setting with a separate owner next door that's not essentially the same person, that they would probably take issue with a potential setback issue if they noticed it.
Right.
In this case, it was essentially the same person.
I understand. The thing is that I take issue with the setback because I mean, you know, I try to fit buildings on little parcels all the time. And actually, when I looked at this plan for Pine Hill, like a lot of those where they're proposing the buildings go, it's directly on a setback line. And I mean, how many of those are going to be within the set? It's just, to me, it's like, I would like it to be painful. If we could figure out how to make it painful for somebody to do that, because $3,000 isn't painful when you're building a $500,000 house.
That is correct. Except again, it's a first offense thing, and
yeah.
we keep control of who's building it, who's the excavator, who's digging the hole. Like we have full control over all like names of companies, everything.
Okay.
And again, it's just really a first offense.
Yeah.
And again, if somebody came in and said, "Well, I'm not paying that,"
Yeah.
well, fine, then we'll take you to court if you move your house.
Right.
And that is painful. That's very expensive.
Yes.
Right.
So, yes, we're moving into the right direction, but before we started implementing this last year,
nothing happened.
A letter was written, it was signed, and they moved on.
Ridiculous, Jerry.
I can comment on this. My son-in-law is a builder.
Yeah.
And they ran into this. He's building up in Yarmouth.
Yeah.
And they encroached into the setback.
Yeah.
They had to cut that part off.
Yeah.
So now their deck
They should.
got to cut across, and part of the house has been lopped off because of that.
Yep.
So
They should.
that should be made known up front, I guess, to people when they apply for a permit. If you do not, right?
Everybody has the
So
opportunity for us to go over it and measure for them.
Right.
Just so we should put that on live TV. If you're building a house, everybody gets that same opportunity. But it's really the bank. They send out a foundation surveyor, and they're the ones who finds it usually.
Yeah.
Because they say, "Oh, I have my building permit now. Let me throw in my footings and my foundation."
Right.
And it's like, well, we need to inspect that too.
Yeah.
And then it's found. So.
Anyway,
You're right.
are these guys going to be fined? Kidding. I just brought this whole topic up earlier with James, and you just reminded me of it. So.
If I could add one thing, if I
Yes,
can get on my soapbox.
you certainly
for a
can.
minute.
Yeah, get on it.
Just regarding mortgage loan inspections and setback issues. In the survey community, the mortgage loan inspection is sort of like the Pinto of the survey profession. I don't know what the going rate is. It's in the order of about $300 is what a bank pays for a mortgage loan inspection.
Yeah.
Surveying engineering services, you don't get much for $300.
No. Yeah.
So that's the unfortunate thing with mortgage loan inspections and stuff like that. You mentioned, Nicole, really tight lots and stuff. And the $300 mortgage loan inspection is pretty difficult for a surveyor to accurately represent the position of the building and the setbacks and all that stuff and work within that budget. So like our company, if we're asked to do a mortgage loan inspection, we do it for what it costs to do it.
Right.
To do it right.
Yeah.
Not
probably
the
find-
$300
No,
that the
I
bank
mean,
will give us. So
a lot
for
line, just finding a sideline for a lot line is
Yeah.
$1,000,
Yes.
and you would at least need to do that in order to measure a setback.
Correct. So just for what it's worth, when we get requests for that sort of a plan, we do it for clients all the time, but we do it for the cost that it takes to do it correctly and ensure that the buildings meet the setbacks, and then you won't have problems like
Yeah,
this.
so if you're building a house, I want this on TV, call a surveyor.
We could consider making that a requirement.
It's ridiculous, and I don't want Berwick to be known for that, because I'll tell you what, I heard about it because they're like, "Oh, Berwick, you can build into your setbacks." I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, back to this. What do we, what are the boards, what's James's feeling on this? I mean, it's just a lot line adjustment.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's not changing
You
anything.
can find the application complete and approve it
Okay.
tonight. Yeah.
Are you guys comfortable with that? You have any questions? No. Okay.
Yeah, I move that we find the application complete.
I second that.
Second.
All in favor of finding the application complete? Did you vote, Fecto? Unanimous. And then we need to approve the findings of fact.
Yep.
And there's no conditions, so do
No
we need to
conditions.
approve it without condition? Okay, so I need a motion to approve the findings of fact.
I move that we approve the findings of fact.
So
I'll
moved.
second it.
Second, all in favor? That's unanimous. And then we just need a final approval then.
I move that we give final approval.
All right.
I'll second.
Lot line adjustment, final approval, motion made and seconded. All in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the nice discussion also.
Oh, I appreciate it. I'm happy to discuss surveying and engineering anytime.
Well,
I do have some wet stamp plans here, if you have the quorum here to sign those.
We do, yeah. Yep, if you want to hang out for another 6 minutes, you can do that.
Thank you.
All right, no further new business and no old business to attend to, so I'm going to open up our second public comment session. Open to anybody under the purview of the Berwick Planning Board property owners with something to say that has nothing to do with an active agenda item.
I got no one.
Okay. Seeing nobody come forward, I'm going to close the public comment session, open up the informational items. James?
Just to follow up on that discussion, I think the administrative consent comes in when it's clear that the contractor made a mistake.
Yeah.
And not taking advantage of if they are on a small lot and they make the mistake, or if they're making intentional, we'll know. We'll go.
Yeah.
You're going right to court
Right.
because we could send to the
Maybe
Board of
for
Appeals.
small lots, I mean, if we see, like, if we've got a development with a bunch of small lots, could we say that you are required, I mean, I could put it in the conditions of approval. You're required to have Jen come out and measure the setbacks on each lot, on each house. I mean, I know you probably aren't gonna like it, but it's important when we're putting a 20,000 square foot lot.
With surveys, I'm pretty sure in the subdivision regulations, it says they have to be staked out. Is that right?
I'd have to look at the
Yeah, you'd have to look at our subdivision regulations
Pretty
probably,
sure, but yeah, you
well,
make that.
and then we measure. That's the thing is like staked out. I mean, they stake out the stuff before they dig it too, and they're still digging in the wrong damn places. 10 feet is a lot of feet.
Well, let's also play, just to throw this out, what if there's a huge rock and they have to go 10 feet over?
This is not my problem.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that we have the regulations for a reason. So.
Well, there.
We can skip, sorry.
No
We
problem.
can skip the administrative consent
Uh-huh.
altogether and
Yeah.
just go to court.
Well, I don't want to go to
do that
court.
too.
No,
I'm willing to do that too.
Yeah.
However, there was nothing in place and now there's this
Yes,
in place.
I love it.
And
Thank
now
God.
people are hearing this and they're
Yes.
like, oh God, I don't want to spend, because it's double your permit fee. is
Right.
how we figure it
right.
out.
I like that.
Yeah, so it could be $5,000-$6,000 potentially. And let me tell you, when you're building a house, you don't want to spend an extra $6,000.
Right, because that's
you
your
want to put in
that's your
fancy
granite.
fixtures.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I totally get that, and I like that, and I appreciate that, and you guys had the foresight to do that, which is awesome. I hate hearing that stuff, and it irks me, and I just didn't know what was in place, and especially when I see this subdivision and everything's really tight, I'm nervous that,
We do have a mechanism that require foundation certificates,
And we should.
and that's something that we can make.
we certainly should do it for subdivisions, if not for everything.
for-
We got the thumbs up from Mike.
Would
Yeah.
that be for non-lender financed?
For any
projects?
I mean,
For
for
any
any
project?
I think for any.
So if I'm going to finance it myself, is there a,
It shouldn't matter. If
Yeah.
you're
Well,
putting
doesn't that
a
protect
bucket in the
you at
ground,
that-
it shouldn't
Yeah.
matter.
Paul, usually when the bank comes out to do those mortgage loan surveys that he's talking about,
Right.
the foundation's in, it's been waterproof, the drainage is in,
Yeah.
and the
You're not
building
moving
is
anything.
on the
Yeah.
foundation.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's,
You know,
that's if
it's
it's
too
bank
far
finance.
on.
But
Right.
what I'm saying is, if I'm doing it myself and I'm saying I don't need a survey,
Well, it would just
I don't
be.
need a foundation survey, is the town saying I need a foundation survey?
We still measure, so once the foundation's in, we still measure,
Okay.
if that helps, 'cause
So that's a trigger, it's a trigger point for you.
Yeah, because we
Okay.
have to sign off on that anyway.
Do we have to have that approved by does that have to go to vote if we say we want to require foundation certifications?
It could be
on all new builds?
It could be just could be a tweak it's in the ordinance. I think it says may.
Yeah.
You can say shall, and
Yeah.
That's
we
a
just
big-
need to, but it still needs to go to vote, so that would be in June.
it's November at this point.
Yeah.
We can still get it into November?
You're right. It is June.
Yeah, it is June. Yeah.
Maybe it's we can workshop this.
Yeah.
Maybe if it's something like if it's within 5 feet, So if they're building right on that line,
Yeah.
then it's a shall.
Okay,
But
yeah.
if they,
Yeah,
you
that
know, if
makes
they
sense.
are off their setback lines, that way we don't have to.
Right, yeah, for
Yeah,
something
if
that's
you're
in the
way,
middle
if you're
of a
blatantly
field.
over your
That makes sense.
setbacks, you shouldn't. It shouldn't matter.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. I like that. I like
You gotta
that, and I would
speak-
like
if
to
you gotta
see that.
say something,
Oh,
you gotta-
yeah, come on up.
Just for informational
We would love it.
purposes, that's not uncommon what James is talking about,
Okay.
where there's a threshold if you're within so many feet of the setback line
Yep.
to require a foundation as-built plan, or alternatively, some towns require a letter signed and sealed by a surveyor that says that the foundation was laid out. There's a lot of different approaches to that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be happy to, if you guys have any questions or anything, our
That would be
office would be
awesome.
happy to help you guys out if that's something you guys want to do. But it's, like any other ordinance, you know, you want to think the whole thing through
Right,
and make
right.
sure that it's, you know, appropriate for everybody, because it does add a cost for the homeowner.
Yep.
Or the developer, and, you know, you don't want any unnecessary costs.
Right, right. But as,
Another thing that we need to start doing too.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting.
no, continue.
Is we need to, on the building permit that we print, and I was thinking about this the other day, we need to start putting and labeling the setbacks on there.
Okay.
Because the two that we've given administrative consents to,
Mm-hmm.
you can drive down both roads, both addresses, and see. It's very clear that they're wrong, just
Mhm.
by looking at them.
Mhm.
So, you can tell that nobody stood on that road and looked and said, yeah, that's.
Something looks
know,
off. Yeah, yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, maybe we look at tripling or, you know,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely good to work on.
I totally, yeah, and I like the threshold idea. I think that's good because obviously if somebody's putting a house in the middle of a 40-acre field, we're not going, you know, you don't want to go measure it. But yeah, I like that, and I'm glad that you guys have a good solution for it because I had no solution. I was just getting bent. Amber Fecto, do you have any informational items for us over there?
I don't have anything.
No? All right. Well, you look cute, and I love those windows.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else on the board have anything to say? All right, well then I think we have a need for a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Second?
Second?
I can't take my mask off when I'm done. I know, we were supposed to do that, we were gonna propose adjournment. Yes. I'm sorry, but I had to shut David Ayer